When I hear the doorbell ring, I think, seriously? But it's Jill, and even death wouldn't be a good excuse for blowing off Jill. So I put on my coat with a hood, I grab my rolling old lady carriage, I grab the blind cane, and I head downstairs. There she is, my blind coach. I didn't seek out a blind coach. I didn't know that blindness was a sport that required a coach. But when my neuro-ophthalmologist told me that my MS-related optic nerve damage had crossed over into legal blindness, I was like, okay, whatever. I see just as well as I saw yesterday. And she said, she referred me to the Mass Commission for the Blind. I asked her if she was allowed to do that without my consent, and she thought I was joking. I wasn't joking. I tell Jill on the phone that I really don't want to waste her time. I'm sure she's a really busy person, and I'm not actually blind, because I can still do stuff on my own. She just listens. She says, and she makes an appointment to come to my house. She's carrying a blind cane. She had asked me on the phone what my height was, and I saw the cane, and I said, oh, no. I'm not doing that. I'm not that kind of blind. I get around just fine. She said, okay, so do you ever fall? I said, no. Well, not out on the street. I fell down the stairs, but it's because it's a new house to me and I have no depth perception. But now my son and I went to Dollar Tree and we got duct tape that's bright orange and purple sparkly and royal blue, and we put it on each step so I don't fall down the stairs anymore. She said, yeah, is your son gonna follow you around with duct tape? I thought that was a little rude. She asked me if I ever got lost, and I said no. I put in headphones, and the Google directions told me to go up here and turn right and go up there and turn left, and I was fine. She said, how about in the dark? I said, well, I just get rides in the dark. I don't really like to walk around in the dark, especially the new neighborhood. She said, okay, well, I'm going to give you the phone number of somebody who's also a reluctant cane user. And you call her and you hear her story. I said, whatever, I'll call her so I can tell her I talked to this woman and we're very, very different. I call her, and she's funny. She tells me some funny stories about Jill, which I appreciate. She also thinks Jill doesn't have much of a sense of humor. She tells me everything changed when she named her blind cane. And she named him Stanley. And she introduced him to children in her classroom. She was a teacher, and she traveled the world with Stanley. And Stanley helped her explore and be independent. She said, maybe you need to name your blind cane. I said, yeah, I don't think so, because if I were to name the blind cane at this point, his name would be fucking Dickhead. And then I fell in the street. I wasn't using fucking Dickhead. It was a new sidewalk to me. I didn't know the sidewalks by heart the way I did in my old neighborhood, so I didn't see where the roots kind of made it buckle. And I tripped and I fell, and it was hard. And I ripped my pants, and my knee was bleeding, and I was laying there on the sidewalk. I was embarrassed. It hurt. And I was pissed because Jill was right. and I wasn't safe without the blind cane. So I sent her a text. I said, fine, I'll do the blind cane training. And we did. And we took the train, and we walked upstairs, and I still was not happy. I didn't like that I needed the goddamn blind cane. And I was going to do whatever I could do to avoid certain blind cane situations. I told her that people would think I was faking, because when I'm on the train with the blind cane and I'm looking at my phone, they know I can really see. And I'm probably just trying to ride for free. She said, yeah, do you think blindness is all black and white? Because it's a spectrum. When she suggested we go to the grocery store, I said, no. There's this thing called Instacart, and I don't have to do that. And if I want to run in for oat milk, I know exactly where it is. She said, okay, what happens if you need something, Instacart doesn't have it, and you don't know how to find it? So I meet her. We go to Shaw's. It's raining. I said to her, how do blind people deal in the rain? I have the old lady carriage, I have the blind cane, and it's raining. How am I supposed to do that? Do blind people not get to use umbrellas? She said, well, you have a hood, right? We walk to the store, and I'm angry, and it's raining, but I did it. And I asked for things that I couldn't find. And when I left the store, the sun came out. And I said to Jill, I'm okay on my own from here. And I snapped my cane open like a Jedi lightsaber. And I went home with everything on my list. Thank you.